Hi guys, it's Kiana again. Click the thumbs up, subscribe, and ring the bell. Bye! Hi guys, we're back with another one. You're listening to the Re-Education Podcast.
So welcome back, guys. Simone again. And today, like most days, I have another special guest with me, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves.
Hello everyone. I am Nelly Elessa. I'm the founder and coach of She Coaches Greatness. I'm a personal development coach, and my passion is self-love. And I run a growing empowerment platform for millennial women and boss ladies to walk in self-love, to live their purpose and live to the fullness of their greatness. So that's my platform, She Coaches Greatness, and that's me as a coach.
Thank you. So tell me a bit about what motivated you to start She Coaches Greatness.
Yes. The topic of greatness personally has been something that has personally saved me. So I'm from Paris. I'm French from Paris, and came to the UK in my teenage years, not speaking a word of English. Literally, I spoke nothing. The only word I could speak was hello. Then I had my baby at 15, and I didn't speak English, and I had to take my GCSEs the following year. And I had a decision to make. Was I going to be a statistic and, be something that people were expecting me to be as a beautiful melanated woman? Or was I going to be the best version of myself, regardless of the struggle that I was facing at the time? So in my pregnant belly and speaking to my baby, I said to him, we're going to be great. We're going to be the best versions of ourselves, and we're going to get past this. And this mindset has helped me to build a career. It has helped me to love myself despite facing atrocious circumstances. And it has helped me to really build myself and be the best version of myself to start my business this year and build a career that allowed me to travel around the world. And most importantly, raise a beautiful young king, my TJ, who's 20, going into his second year at uni. So, and that's all down to greatness, and it's all down to self-love. And there's a lot of people that are struggling with low self-esteem silently. So I started She Coaches Greatness because one, I'm a Black coach as well, which I don't see many of. A woman of excellence who loves excellence, who loves who she is, and who loves to be great. And when I say great, I mean being the best version of herself. So I wanted to do something different. I wanted to bring my essence and be a voice of hope and empowerment for millennial women, and I refer to millennial women and boss ladies as sheroes. So if you go to my platform, you'll see me use that name a lot, because I want to see us win. I want to see us be the best versions of ourselves. I want to see us walk in self-love, walk in greatness, walk in purpose, to build a legacy that will outlast us and our children. So that's what motivated me to start She Coaches Greatness.
That's powerful, sis. That's a lot. That's powerful. And thank you.
You're welcome.
So this episode is going to still focus on Black people, racism, and our experiences. But we're just going to shift a little bit. You've mentioned a lot about self-love. So I want you to share with the listeners what the topic of our conversation is today.
Yeah, sure. So today I wanted to take a different view on self-love and talk about self-love in a racially unlovable climate. How do we love ourselves when the climate we live in is racially unjust and perpetuates hate. So that's personally a topic that I haven't really seen addressed. And the recent events that we've had to endure, years that we've had to endure, where we had to fight through injustice, we had to fight through racism. It does have an impact on our self-love and how we perceive ourselves. So I really wanted to talk about that today and hopefully inspire and empower your audience, the listeners listening to this, to really tap into their self-love and tap into different strategies and tips to not be impacted in a way that will lead them to hate themselves, because that's what racism can do.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what trauma can do.
Yeah,
it takes away your value. It makes you doubt yourself. It makes you feel less than. And for me, that is something that I just cannot stand. I can't stand it. I'm all about self-love, and as a Black woman myself, I love seeing Black sisters love themselves, walk into the beauty of who they are, and their individual greatness. And that's for Black men too. That's for the heroes too, listening as well. So today I really wanted to take the opportunity with you to really explore that subject from that perspective.
Yeah, I mean, for me, self-love, I know, has not been labeled or a topic that I've discussed. But in one of my first, I think it was in the second episode, when I spoke to two of my closest friends, I call them sisters. Like, don't do friends out here, we do sisters, we do family.
Family, sheroes.
Yes. And the topic of conversation is, when and how do you talk to your children about racism? And the conclusion from that topic was the delivery in which we do so when addressing the topic that is racism, what the experiences are for them to come and how they can actually overcome them and not let it really get to them, because that's what the system is designed to do. But also about that proudness, like being proud to be Black. And an element of that is self-love. Love yourself, be comfortable with yourself. And we were only talking about children. We weren't even talking about ourselves as adults, like our fellow brothers and sisters, and you know, the people that are already here, the community that's already here. And when we spoke and you said about self-love, for me it clicked, and it was like, bro, I never really looked at it from that perspective. And in a previous episode with Rihanna from Plan, she mentioned, you know, looking at it from all different angles. We have to come at this topic that is racism from multiple different angles. And I think self-love should be one of the foundation levels, like one of the pillars that we make sure that we are definitely tapping into, because we may not have seen it growing up, or we may have seen it growing up in a different way, but to actually have the conversations on that topic, for me, it's thank you for bringing it. And I want you to share the context. So you have a blog on self-love. Specifically, it says for Black men and women.
Yes, so the blog, so just to clarify as well for the listeners, so She Coaches Greatness is an empowerment platform which consists of a blog, so the She Coaches Greatness blog, content, daily content on social media, specifically on the gram. We love the gram.
Yeah.
Where there is just daily encouragement, empowerment, tips, best practice, just pure elevation, self-love elevation and greatness. And obviously the self-love and empowerment coaching that comes with She Coaches Greatness as well. So this is all in all of what She Coaches Greatness is all about. So as part of it, I regularly write blogs and content that really challenges our mindset. I'm not into the superficial, topics. Let's talk about the real things here.
Yeah.
We are in a peculiar time. This time we're in these are serious times that we need to make serious moves as a community. So my blog is really about talking about the hard subjects through love, through humility, through femininity, but through boldness as well.
And I love that boldness is very key. And I think
absolutely, it's all about courage.
Yeah, and that's what for me. So I met you, Nelly, on a conversation Zoom around racism and addressing it, and the fears behind addressing it. And it's like the moment you spoke, like you actually, for me, embodied that boldness, that love, that confidence, that comfort level of, yes, this is a conversation that we need to have. And I've not shied away from it. I'm not shying away from it. Whilst the conversation was going on, I'm chatting to Nelly. I'm like, hi, I'd really love to get to know you and talk to you outside of this. For me, it's not about talking about it, it's about being about it. And the fact that I could get like the full essence of She Coaches greatness from what you were saying, and you weren't even talking about your platform, and that for me was just, I need to speak to this lady right now. I definitely need to talk to her, and I definitely need to get her on a podcast.
Listen, the platform that you're building, this podcast is greatness in itself. You're walking in your greatness.
Thank you.
And this conversation, I believe, is divine and it needs to be heard. The topic of self-love is okay. Let's go back a step.
Yeah.
So I can really explain this for the listeners. It is my belief that self-love is the engine of greatness. And it's the most powerful force to live a life of internal and external abundance. Without self-love, there is nothing. I really, really believe that. Because one, we cannot give what we don't have. Racism is the epitome of mediocrity. That's how I see it. It is total ignorance and hate. It's mediocre. Greatness, self-love, is love, it's acceptance, it's pride of who we are as a people. It's walking in your full identity with your head high and getting your purpose, getting what's yours with no apologies. And I really, really want, my hope is through this episode that the listeners, the sheroes and heroes listening to this, really step into their self-love and examine themselves of where they are with this, because this is not easy. Self-love is not easy. There are a lot of things, especially for the Black community, that has been against us, a lot of trauma, but at the same time, there is so much beauty in our community. There is so much love. We have a richness of history, and we cannot let the hate of the world impact how we see ourselves. So today was really about talking, how do you, Simone, how do I, Nelly, or how does she, the listener, the shero listening to this, or he, the hero listening to this, love himself in a racially unlovable climate? How do we go about this? So I but in my blog I talked about 5 key principles that really needed to be addressed to really move forward with this. And it's also in correlation with other blog posts that I wrote and the coaching that I do and my own experience as a coach, as a leader, and as a Black woman as well. So if I may, I'd like to go straight into number 1.
Yes, please do.
So number 1 is the importance of self-approving and self-affirming.
Break that down for the listeners, please, Nelly.
So what does that mean? Self-approve, self-affirm. Not other approve, other affirm. And that's so key, because it starts with identity and it starts with knowing who we are. We don't know who we are as individuals, as a people. We have no foundation. So it starts with really investing time in knowing, who am I? What's my identity? What are my values? And really spending that time and doing the inner work to protect how one sees him or herself and making sure that we do the work to see ourselves in high regard in our own eyes. One thing I used to say to myself and keep saying, and people may say, oh, she may be a bit, full of herself. Yes, I'm full of self-love,
yes,
and I own it. But if I had to be born again, I would choose myself again. I absolutely love being a Black woman, would not change it in the world, love my skin, love everything about me. And once you approve of yourself, other people will have to follow. They have no choice. Because
their thoughts and perceptions on you don't matter. It's about
and also,
what you believe.
But if you and I really do the work, we accept ourselves. We've done the work on our identity. We know who we are. We've done the work on our values, our character. I mean, we've done a full 360 analysis of who we are as individuals. Yeah. I'm telling you, no one can touch you. Doesn't matter what they say. No one can touch you, because then you step into a room with so much self-love, so much self-knowledge and mastery that your vibration is high. The way you dress is different. The way you show up is different. The way you talk is different. People have no choice but to step in line.
Yeah.
They may not like you, but they will have no choice but to respect you. What I care about is my purpose. Yeah. What I care about, my impact on people, and no one can mess with our identity. So the principle of self-approving and self-affirming our own person is so important. And until this point, I wouldn't even encourage people to keep reading. Get this point first.
Yeah.
If you read my blog, get that first. I have another post about how to have a winning mind, how to develop a winning mindset, which talks about the steps of knowing who you are, believing that you can, and then really spending time exploring and committing to your purpose. These are part of that foundation that is linked to self-approving and self-affirming, because then you are approving with the knowledge of who you are.
Yeah.
You know who you are, you know what you want, you know, or you are at least in a process of discovering what your purpose is. So you have a clear direction and a clear roadmap of your own person. And your job is then to self-approve and self-affirm until there is no more gaps, until there is no more doubt, and until you are able to walk in that self-love 200%. So that would be my number one, to really be clear and stand on who we are as individuals, and spend time really investing in that knowledge, spending time research, spending time whatever it is that you've got to do. But the goal is that self-love and that self-approving and self-affirming needs to be there as step number one. May I ask, how has been your journey with this specific point of self-approving and self-affirming?
I can say that I was one of those Black people who were always seeking outside approval and wanting people to tell me whether I'm okay, whether I'm enough, whether I'm great, whether I'm whatever. And I think for me, it was seeing how much disbelief my son had in himself at the age of, I think it was 8 or 7. And that hurt me to the core, because I then had to say, well, what am I doing that's not actually supporting his development and his self-belief? And I had to really look at myself and be like, Simone, you are enough and you have something to give. Loving myself is the first thing, because like you said, you can't give what you don't have.
No.
And my son, he's found a passion in drawing.
Yeah.
And he's so excited to share that with people. If I'm on the phone, even if I'm in a meeting, he's like, Mummy, can you show my drawings, please? Can you show my drawings? I'm like, I'm in a meeting. And seeing him believe in himself and develop his skills by himself on that drawing, I realized that I need to really hang on to passions.
Yes.
Passion, something that you really, really believe in, that you're good at, that for me has boosted my belief in myself. So starting this podcast was like my first step in, not even step, my first leap into believing in myself and loving me. I know what I have to give, and I'm so passionate in having these conversations that I've been having them every day, multiple times for the past couple of months. And the responses I'm getting from my podcast as well has just been, wow. Those just reaffirm what I already know.
Yes.
It's needed.
I love this point you made. This is key points that you've made here. And so first about the passions, that again is part of that self-analysis. Because once you discover who you are, what you love, you've got something to work with, you explore it, you do it, you step in faith, and there you go. You then step by step, you really discover your purpose, you discover what you're good at, you discover what you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
And it creates that cycle of self-approving and self-affirming, because now you've got something that you're passionate about. And you're doing just that through this platform and this amazing podcast. You're doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
And one thing I love about when you were talking about your son is the importance of us approving of our children. And what we have to be careful of as Black people specifically is stepping into a place being so self-conscious about being Black. This is a very dangerous mindset, in my opinion. Why? Let me explain. We are beautifully melanated people. Amazing. Let's own that. But we are also more than that. You are Simone.
Yeah.
You've got a set of values. You're a person. You've got certain personality. You've got giftings and talents that is way beyond what race you are. The race is irrelevant.
Yeah.
And I think we need to step step away from or being caught up in the negative connotations of Blackness that is so advertised around all the time, every day. We need to step into, the positivity of who we are. We come from kings and queens. We come from courageous people that have survived and paved the way for us to be where we are today. So let's not forget that. What the richness of where we come from.
Yes.
It's not the slavery books that are taught in schools. This is not where the beginning was. So again, being clear on who we are and standing on who we are is key. Secondly, I loved about I was just imagining your son, mommy, look at my drawings. And it's so amazing because he discovered the gifts he's great at. And you are affirming him. And that is so key. My son, he's got an entrepreneurial mindset. He's not even interested in jobs. He's interested in creative businesses. Because his level of self-confidence and self-worth at 20 is so high. And that's how we have to affirm our own children into our own household. You are beautifully melanated. If you're listening to me, you are beautifully melanated. God gave you this. God made no mistakes. And I'm spiritual, so I do mention God a lot in my content. Doesn't matter what you believe in, but it's just to say, whatever you believe in, there was no mistake made on you. Exactly. You are amazing, just as you are.
And it's the fact that we're spending the most time on just step number one, like you said, you have to get this foundation.
Absolutely.
Before you can move on to anything, because then the inner demons then start to come up. The self-doubt starts to come up when you get to second step, third step, fourth step. And if you haven't done all the work, don't get me wrong, it is an ongoing process because you have to maintain, you have to keep self-approving, you have to keep self-affirming, you have to continue. It's not do this for a week and then you're good. Now you move on to step number 2. This is something that we have to be, it has to be ingrained. Like you said, you've ingrained that from your son from day dot. So that is all he knows. And for the listeners out there that, you know, this is something new to them, that they've not fully experienced, they've not been taught, they've not explored. Like, by all means, it doesn't matter what age you are or your child is, there's always room for work on yourself. And self-love is something that I believe we need to make sure that it just becomes part of our DNA. It can't just be something that, oh, I've never heard of that before. Let me see what that's about. Let me do my research. Do your research now, because the more of us that practice this and fully engage in self-love within our households, within our families, within our friends, within our workplace, whatever environment and space you're in, the more of us that start to get this ingrained, then the more generations come up, it just becomes second nature. It then is written. It's not, oh, okay, let me go read this book about self-love that I had no idea about. Let me up my knowledge on self-love that I already know about, but I want to learn more about. It's an ongoing process, and it's never too late. Believe me when I say, listeners, it's never too late.
It's never too late. I love this. It's never too late. Look, we all are at different places in our lives. We've all gone through different things. Some of us come from, two-parent homes, some single parent, some had wealth, some didn't have wealth, some had love, some didn't know love. So we all have our different backgrounds, we all had our different experiences, but the principle remains the same. We all have to do the work. And it's something that leaves a legacy. I'm telling you, Simone, the self-love is, I really see it as a superpower.
Yeah.
When you have self-love, people cannot treat you anyhow.
It's like you're floating. You're on your own cloud, mate. You're just floating. Oh, okay, that's how you feel. Cool for you. This is how I feel. I'm up here.
That's right. You're so focused, and you've got standards. Self-love is so key, and investing time, like we have in this podcast, spending a significant amount of time talking about point one, because really this is the foundation. Investing time to meditate on who we are as individuals, who you are, who I am, and really doing the inner work. I recently released my greatness journal. It's a greatness worksheet plus a daily planner. And it has self-coaching prompts in it, and I designed this guide to really help my audience do that work of self-love, to really ask ourselves these deep, hard questions. Because until these questions are answered, you will stay where you are, unfortunately.
Yeah. All of the information is going to be in the description box, whether you're watching on YouTube, listening on Spotify, podcast, whatever you're listening, Apple, whatever it is that you're listening to or watching us on. The information for She Coaches Greatness, the blogs, the inspirational quotes and tips that are loaded up on Instagram, everything will be down below. Even the journal link, that will be all down below. So please be sure to go and take a look. And as Nelly has said, there's other blogs that can support in that self-reflection, that inner work, to help you get to that stage of I'm self-approving and I understand who I am, and I'm comfortable with that, and I'm confident with that. Guys, there's tools out there. Obviously, it's never just been, can't just click on Google tools on self-love for Black people. There you go. It's here. You can find it down there, right here.
Amazing. So the Greatness Journal will be a blessing. It's a self-love guide. It's a personal greatness discovery process. And it's also a life planning tool as well, because I believe in planning. Yes, we do the reflection, but we need to have strategy and we need to put actions into place. So as Simone said, the details will be there for you to have it, and it's free as well. So it will bless your life.
Free, guys. It's free.
Freeness. Yeah, no, it does help. I did it as a gift. So number 2 is building up from that. So it's about confronting your limiting beliefs and biases about race. And that, like I said, This is specifically for Black men and Black women. Confronting our limiting beliefs and biases about race. I think when you start doing number one, and that's why we have to start with self-approving and the self-affirming, do that process, spend time in that process. Number two, then you become a bit more knowledgeable about, okay, what are my limiting beliefs and biases about race? We need to ask ourselves, what negative perceptions and stereotypes of race has shaped my beliefs? And how do I see myself? These are very important questions because limiting beliefs and biases are quite everywhere. You know, this, because I look this way, I can only go so far. Who told you that? Where is this written? What lie is this? Because I'm a woman, I can only earn a certain... Where is this written? What Bible, where is this? And if it's there, I actually confront it because I'm a believer. So I'm a faith-based woman. I am a spiritual woman. So if I have all of these giftings in me, my job is to maximize everything that I have. And therefore, there is no cap to how much I can earn. Who told you that you could only achieve this far? Who told you that you couldn't get this house? Who told you that you couldn't get married? These are all limiting beliefs that are so rampant in our community that they have to be arrested and they have to be abolished. Yeah. Seriously. And we have biases such as colorism in our community.
Yes.
We have so many biases. But if we ask ourselves this question, okay, I'm going to sit down, what negative perceptions and stereotypes of race have shaped my beliefs? What do I really think of myself as a Black woman, as a Black man? How do I really see myself? What am I attracted to? And why am I attracted to that? Who and what has influenced
those thoughts,
my perception? And these are very important questions.
Yeah.
So,
I would even encourage people to write down, when you do that exploration of the negative perceptions and stereotypes, I would encourage people to write them down, because I've seen I know I've watched Ayan Levan's aunt fix my life. Yeah. And there's been a few different episodes where she's written down like negative things and asked people, where does that come from?
Yes.
And they have to face
That's right.
their own self, because those comments come from them.
Yes.
Those thoughts come from them. Those limiting beliefs that we don't even know are actually limiting beliefs. I would write them down and then ask where, why, how.
How and what.
Ask all of those questions.
All of those questions. And who? You know, how has it shaped how you treat yourself and others on your or their skin tone? That's a question for Black people. So these are the limiting beliefs and biases that we need to really ask ourselves and sit down with ourselves. And like you said, write down, take the journal. If you haven't already, download the Greatness Journal, because these are questions that you can put on there. Yeah. And even in your own journal, piece of paper, write down. And like you said, face yourself. Because we all have to face ourselves. And the people who don't are the people who lose. Because if we don't face ourselves, we're walking in ignorance. We're walking in la la land. And we're just setting ourselves up to be played.
You mentioned it in the beginning of your blog, which my coach and mentor has always spoken about that being uncomfortable. When you're in that uncomfortable space, it's a good space. It's a good space. Get comfortable in the uncomfortable, because that's where learning grows. That's where it comes from. You can't stay comfortable and learn something, because you're in that state of comfort where you know everything within that zone.
You can't grow when you have to be uncomfortable to grow.
Go right to the edge of that comfort zone and take that leap or step of faith into the unknown, that uncomfortable, like, I don't know what I'm going to do here, but I know it's going to maybe hard, you know, it may be painful. That self-discovery, doing the inner work is going to be uncomfortable, but it's only after you've gotten comfortable in that uncomfortable zone, then you will learn, okay, you get like that light bulb moment, like, oh, wow. Then you won't want to go back to the other comfort zone. Like, you can step back in when you want to, but that yearning for continuous growth and development, you'll continue to create. Your zone will then become bigger. Like, your box will grow from yourself.
Yes. You will grow, you will evolve, you will level up. And that's I've got level up, which is point number 4. But to wrap up this point about confronting limiting beliefs, look, the truth is, most of us have had, or may I say, all of us at some point in our lives, people that I know, have had to confront limiting beliefs. Mm-hmm. We've all had to face them, but we don't have to be stuck in them. We can overcome them. So in my blog and in my journal, I also give exercises of what you can do to really reflect and guide that inner discussion that needs to be had. Mm. Because once you answer those questions, once you have the courage to be transparent with yourself and without judgment as well. I really want to highlight, this is not a judgment question. No. You're where we are, but we don't have to stay there. If you have the desire to evolve, if you have the desire to change for the better, if you have the desire to level up, if you have the desire to become the best version of yourself, that desire alone to start with is already fantastic. You're already on your path to winning. Mm. But it takes work. Yes. It takes hard conversations. It takes you and I to face ourselves and to be honest with ourselves. It might take some tears. It might take, like you said, a lot of discomfort. That I can reassure you. But that's good, because then begins the process of healing. There begins the process of success. Yes. And there really begins the process of walking in our own individual greatness. So that's point number 2. Confront your limiting beliefs and biases about race. And in the blog, I'm asking some key questions on there so that people can go on the blog post for specific tips on this one. Number 3, which is one of my favorites, because I can really, testify of its power, is cherishing your body in and out. Yes. Cherishing your body. What are your views about point number 3, cherishing your body?
I mean, the body is a temple, you must take care of it. Be mindful of what you're putting in there and being comfortable in the skin that you're in.
Yes.
Because, media can really convince women in particular that they need to look a certain way. They need to dress a certain way. But love your skin, be comfortable in your body. And if you want to do anything, whether it's losing weight or toning up or gaining weight, whichever way it is, make sure that you're doing it for you. Again, that self-love, if it ain't there, this will be confusing.
I'm telling you.
Who are you doing it for?
One point I wanted to make as well earlier. We either self-love or we self-loathe. It's one or the other. So for the point number 3 on cherishing your body, absolutely what you said. It's really my humble opinion that a body that is looked after internally and externally, through what we eat, what we drink, how we take care of our skin, how many times and how much we exercise, and the self-care routines that we do, is self-love. It leads to so much elevation. It leads to just a clearer mind, better decisions, better performance, better relationships, just better everything, because you're taking care of you. So looking after yourself, and it can be in, because we're all in different phases. Some people may not, be where they can work out 4 or 5 days a week yet. That's okay. You can go for a walk. You can, instead of buying that soda, you could drink water and put lemon in it.
Yeah. Oh, or cucumber. I love cucumber.
Cucumber, yeah, whatever. Even strawberries.
Love it.
But these little things that cherish your body, that makes you feel good, that challenges you to elevate.
Yes. And guys, go on YouTube. Like, there's so much different types of workout. I know I tried a range of different workouts during lockdown because I'm in my house. I'm not walking up and down.
At home in our gyms, and you don't even need equipment. You can do body weight. It's free. You can go for a run. Whatever works for you. What works for you?
I tried dance workouts. I tried actual like ab workouts. Like the dance workouts were fun for a few weeks.
Yeah.
But then the skipping for me, because it works the whole body and you don't even you don't even realize until you feel it, and it's like, oh, okay.
Serious.
Then I've done a workout. Like I feel good.
Yeah. No, but that's the power of it, of cherishing your body. And may I be controversial here as well, Simone? It also involves, who do we let in
our body?
Okay?
I know some people needed to hear that one.
Listen.
Some people needed to hear that one. I'm going to sip my water.
Coming out now. The coach is coming out. But listen to me. Okay? What we do with our bodies is our own decisions. But the fact that your body is a temple, usually in a temple, you just don't let anyone in. So I really challenge anyone listening to this. How do you cherish your body?
That's a good question.
We all are where we are, and it's okay as long as you don't stay there. It's a process. What I would encourage everyone to continue doing, and if you haven't done yet, start doing it.
Yeah. Start
developing a morning routine. Start walking 30 minutes a day. Maybe you start with 10 minutes and then you build it up. Try a dance class. Try yoga. Do something that will make you feel better and that will give you the satisfaction of honoring and cherishing your body.
Yeah.
That's point number 3.
And guys, try different things. If you feel that workouts aren't for you, or skipping isn't for you, or lifting weights isn't for you, like, try different things. You'll be surprised the amount of different ways that you can actually get fitter. So just try. Google is your friend. YouTube is your friend.
YouTube is your friend. Listen, find something that's for you. There is something for you out there. Just discover and explore, and eventually you'll find something that's for you. But cherish your body is definitely point number 3 that I really, really want to encourage and empower people to start doing. And I've got 2 more points.
Yeah.
4, and you mentioned it earlier, and it's called leveling up your life. Listen, beautiful black women and black men listening to this podcast today. Now is the time to grow, to elevate, and to be the best you could possibly be. I really believe that what you want to be, you can become. You can. There is no limitations. I love that song. I think it was in 2019 that came out by Ciara. Level Up.
Oh, yes. There's a lot of dancing challenges with that one.
Much. No, seriously, it's such a powerful song, and I love its message. Now is the time to level up. We all have areas we can level up in and do better in. All of us.
100%.
It doesn't matter how rich you are. It doesn't matter your situation. It doesn't matter if you're married or single. There is something in your life you can level up in. There is a book you can read. There's a seminar you can attend on Zoom. Okay, so not really able to really go out as much yet. There are things to go higher mentally, spiritually, financially, professionally, and every other way where leveling up is possible. I really believe that. So that would be my point number 4, to level up. So I'm going to ask you, Simone, what areas in your life right now are you challenged to level up in?
I guess for me, it's always being a mother. Lockdown has really given me more time with my children because they haven't been at school. And it's doing that work on that self-love and getting to, love themselves, be comfortable with themselves. and also following my passion, which is having conversations around racism.
Yeah.
And promoting growth, creating awareness, all of those things. And I want to say coaching as well. So I'm a youth worker. That's my profession. That's my education. Experience is deeply youth work. And there's something around supporting the growth and somewhat independence of young people.
Yeah.
And I've always been the one to kind of create stuff, set things up, and then hopefully pass it on. And for me right now, it's looking at how I can do that as a youth worker, as a coach. I'm currently doing a second coaching course as well through work. And that for me, I'm realizing a lot more that I can do once I receive that qualification. But for me, it's more than having that qualification. It's about being an example. Just like yourself, you said that there's hardly any black women, female coaches. Like, I can count how many I've met on one hand. So it's like, I want to be able to provide a space specifically for young black women as well. And I'm not leaving out my young black men.
No.
I'm not leaving them out at all. But it's that element of self-love.
Yeah.
That we're not, like I said, we're not taught that. It's something that we learn along the way, that somebody might, share that wisdom or that knowledge on. Do you know what it is about self-love? Do you know what that is? Do you know what that looks like? Do you know what it can do for you? Do you know the benefits, the impact?
Yeah.
It's that is something that I'm really working on right now for myself. And it's kind of like being like a vessel of sharing, imparting wisdom, knowledge, experience, because one person can't take on the whole world. It is a collaborative approach. So for me, it's working on what I can actually do to impact change within my household, but also outside of, for other black women and men in the world, really.
You've said it. You doing that, because what you're doing, you're being the change and you're bringing the change through what you're doing. And that's leveling up. Because really also it starts at home. By leveling up at home, we're taking care of our kids. Bills are paid, okay? We're taking care of our finances. We are growing economically. We need to make money. Wealth needs to be built in our community. We are loving our kids. We're loving ourselves. And because we love ourselves, we are able to attract and choose partners who love themselves and who can love us because they've got self-love. And then we've got marriages. We've got long marriages, stable homes. So do you see the process? You see the impact? Yeah. Self-love is not it's not a small thing. It's the foundation.
Yes.
Of everything. And without self-love, we are perishing. And that's really why I'm here. I'm here to encourage and to empower sheroes. I call them sheroes because I predominantly coach millennial women and boss ladies. But I'm not excluding our beautiful men as well, and especially our beautiful black men that I call heroes. We love you. I personally love them. I love our men. I've got 4 brothers and 1 son. Absolutely love them. And we need you to level up. So until we address number 1, all these 0.2, 3, 4 isn't gonna, it cannot be built. But all of these points that we're talking about, leveling up, you can start with reading a book, buying a book today. You can start with, sorting out finances, learning about investments, money, leveling up, promoting at work, starting that business, writing that book, starting that blog, working out. Listen, we all have areas we can level up in. And by loving ourselves unconditionally, we extend love onto others. And that is leveling up. And my final point, to close the five principles and tips, I call them, but they're more principles than tips.
Yeah.
Because it's deep. It's deep work. In my platform, She Coaches Greatness, like I said, I'm not that your superficial coach. I will challenge you to elevate. By the time, that's why I love being a coach. I really believe this is one of the best gifts I've been given. It's such an amazing profession and gift. Because it's being a coach is you have to be it to do it.
Yes.
I really believe. Don't think it's something you can have all the certifications in the world. I really believe in being certified. I'm certified myself, and I worked in leadership development and project management. I'm certified in all these things. But you have to be it to do it.
Yeah.
You have to have that soul. You have to have that passion. So. To close here, my point number 5 is to surround yourself with love.
Yes.
You are loved, Simone. I am loved.
You are loved too, Nelly.
Yeah, I'm loved. The listener, beautiful Shiro listening, you are loved. The beautiful hero listening, you are loved. And my encouragement to you is to surround yourself with people who remind you of how loved you are. And that's to me as well. We have to surround ourselves with people who love us. There is so much negativity in the world, and no man is an island. We need each other. We need love. We need to be reminded. We need to have our one person. It could be your son. Like my son is like he's my everything. Okay, my baby TJ. He tells me, "Mom, don't call me sweetie pie in front of my friends." But I love him so much. I really do love him. He's my light, because I know where we come from and the process of greatness it took me to get here today. It was no joke. So when I talk about this subject, I'm talking from a place of experience.
Yeah.
I had to go through a hard process. I wasn't always this, full of self-love and full of, confidence. I had to go through a process to be where I am today. It took a lot of inner work, and why I'm coaching the way that I coach. So point number 5 is really to remind yourself and surround yourself with love. And in order to do that, you have to become love.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, you have to love yourself.
You can't give what you don't have.
You can't give what you don't have. So I really, really encourage the listeners today to really be a love agent. Be love. Go love yourself. Do the work, because you deserve it. You are worth it. You are worth it all. And I really believe that once we do that work, if each and every one of us did that work, my goodness, the change we're going to see. We are such in a peak time. Like we are, like our generation, specifically millennials, we are revolutionaries, okay? We don't take no nonsense. Okay, this silence, I've seen people be silent because we all deal with things differently, but there's a way to address this.
Yeah.
When I looked at what we experienced with George Floyd and all the others, beautiful black souls that were taken from us because of hate, we have to move different. We have to address things different, with boldness and with self-love.
Yeah.
And we can make that change if we surround ourselves with love. So that's what I would encourage. Point number 5 is to surround yourself with love, to become love, to be an agent of love. And you can only achieve that through loving yourself.
Yeah.
And my last point on that is when you do that, there's no space for toxicity. There's no space for people that don't mean well towards you, people that want to dog you out. You actually would repel them. So self-love and surrounding yourself with love will really raise your standards. It will help you love with boundaries, and it will help you love in a healthy way and repel anything that's not good for you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if you apply those 5 things, you self-approve and you self-affirm yourself. You confront your limiting beliefs and biases about race. You cherish your body. You level up your life. You elevate and you grow. and you surround yourself with love through these 5 steps, these 5 principles, one at a time. If you do that, there will be change in your life. So that's what I got for you today. I hope that it really blessed you, and I'm just so excited for the Black community.
Yeah.
There's beautiful Black men, Black women out there doing big things, beautiful businesses. I also want to remind everyone around the Black Pound. It's not every Tuesday, it's every day. You know, let's invest in ourselves and our community. Let's lift ourselves up. Let's support one another and continue to grow and walk in our greatness and purpose.
Nelly, thank you so much. Like, that was... I feel different even just going through that with you today.
How do you feel different?
I have another level of belief in myself. Like, I believed I could do this. I believe that what I'm doing currently and what I do in my day job is the right thing. And I'm doing it from a place of passion and, you know, sitting with my values. But I'm more excited with the fact that I've been able that you've come onto this podcast episode today and you've shared your 5 principles on self-love, and just how much those gems are just dropping right now as people are listening. They're just dropping. I hope that there's people that were listening and paused or stopped and went on their phone or on their laptop or on their tablet or another device and looked up She Coaches Greatness. Like, that's what I'm hoping. That right now you've had a swarm of new followers. You've been inundated with coaching requests, because let's not forget Nelly is a coach as well, a boss-ass coach at that. And I'm really hopeful, not even hopeful, I know how much people have listened to this and are actually going to act on the whole topic of self-love. And guys, you know, as Nelly said, it's a process. And if you would like to have a coach as well that can support you through this process, Nelly's here.
I'm here, guys.
Nelly is here.
Guys, I'm here. I would encourage you to go on my website, www.shecoachesgreatness.com. I'm on Instagram. I love the gram, so you can connect with me on there at She Coaches Greatness. And thank you, Simone, for your platform. The Re-Education podcast is amazing. You're doing amazing work.
Thank you.
I'm so excited for you. I'm excited for the future of this podcast and looking forward to more episodes that are to come as well.
Yes, no doubt you'll be back on, because in the coming months I'm going to start setting up roundtable discussions.
Oh, wow.
And I have a guest that's coming on probably in a few weeks.